Good morning. Thanks for coming. Thanks for getting the message out to the community. We know there's a lot of concern, but we continue to progress, monitor the situation. EPA, in collaboration with U.S. Coast Guard, TCEQ, Harris County, ITC, progressing every day on this incident, securing the site, monitoring the air, recovering the water and product on the water, the product on the water. The site is more secure every day. There's been no decrease in operations across the board. We ramp up every day. We've got more personnel. We've got more equipment on the water, recovering the product. The tanks are more stable, more secure every day. We're making progress. EPA, excuse me, EPA, TCEQ, the Coast Guard, Harris County, ITC, in collaboration, we're monitoring on the ground, on the water, and in the air, any emissions from this incident. And if we get emissions, if we get measurements that are going to affect your community above 1 part per million, that information gets disseminated down to the local governments for them to notify you of the appropriate actions to take, whether it's a shelter in place or an evacuation. We did have a few hits, a few measurements in the San Jacinto Industrial Port area last night. Water recovery operations are over there. We have some big pockets of oil on the San Jacinto Port area. The winds were coming out of the southeast at the time, so it was to be expected. We got no significant hits, measurements. If we had, then your local government would have notified you to take precautions. On the wildlife side, an additional bird was observed in the impact area. It's a tern. It was rescued, and it's entered rehabilitation. Progress continues to improve. Communication has been strong throughout with all the stakeholders and our partners, and we're continuing to move forward.
So wait, excuse me, there was another hit last night on top of the one that happened
The previous night. So late last night, we had a measurement of benzene. It was not sustained. It's instantaneous. We sent a confirmation team over to validate and see if they were going to get the similar concentrations, and they didn't get any hits right there.
What was the parts per million?
It was 1.6 parts per million. The Unified Command was notified, and it was disseminated down to the local governments. It was not in the community. It was in the industrial area of the San Jacinto Port. And we're going to hold all the questions until we get done with all the presentations, please.
Hello, I'm Nicole Rodriguez. I'm with the Coast Guard. Again, thank you all for coming out today. I live right on Galveston Bay. I work on the water every day. I know how important it is to get the port up and running and to get industry moving. So operationally, what I can tell you is that we have to date deployed over 130,000 feet of boom on impacted and sensitive shorelines to help protect them. And we have recovered over 50,000 barrels of product off of the water, again, to date since the start of the incident. From the Coast Guard, we have over 200 people who are deployed here in support of response and recovery operations that are working 24/7, so round-the-clock operations. So what does that mean for on-water recovery and for the port? Well, it means that vessel traffic is moving more and more each day in the Port of Houston. Yesterday, we reached upwards of 50% capacity for the Port of Houston in terms of vessel traffic. We're hoping to reach even more today with some of the additional measures that we're putting in place to continue to move vessels through. And in fact, last night we started back up 24-hour operations within the port by moving vessels successfully last night. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. I am Anthony Buck. I'm with Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, Emergency Management. TCEQ crews are working 24/7 to collect real-time air and water sampling data to give the Unified Command and the local government officials to ensure that the population is safe. TCEQ teams and agency contractors have been working in the area with handheld monitors to measure airborne benzene levels around the site. And as Adam said, we did have some increased measurements around the Jacinto Point area last night. So one thing I always do when I come in is I check our continuous air monitor data. We have 4 cam stations in the area, and we had some instantaneous measurements at our stationary monitors. They were of low, short duration and nothing above our actionable levels. TCEQ is also taking water samples as the weather allows to track the plume from the site around the ship channel in Galveston Bay. Results so far indicate elevated VOC compound or volatile organic compounds in or near the ITC site. Nothing else of consequence. And again, no drinking water intakes are in the affected area. TCEQ is overseeing the cleanup. We've got our waste staff working hard with ITC to approve the waste management plan. And we continue to post all of our air monitoring and water quality data on our website, which is tceq.texas, Texas spelled out, .gov, G-O-V. And all of our data is found there. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Brent Weber of ITC and Incident Command. Progress remains steady. Yesterday, we were able to successfully finish product removal from tanks 80-2 and 80-3. We are continuing to transfer product from tank 80-11. We continue to recover product from the tank farm containment area, as well as remediating our ditches and our waterways. We were unable to start product transfer from tanks 80-5 and 80-6 as planned because the other tanks took a little bit longer than expected. So the focus for today is tanks 80-5 and 80-6, the containment area, and also the ditches and waterways. We are being very proactive and cautious with our planning today, especially with our air monitoring resources. We're expecting a wind shift and a change in weather. So we're proactively, strategically placing our air monitoring equipment and our resources, and we will change our plans from a product removal standpoint as the weather and the wind shifts to limit our impact on our community and to our responders. Thank you.
All right, questions? Brent, do you have, I know you said yesterday that you couldn't name a customer, but wondering if that's changed at all and how negotiations are going with that customer?
No, you know, we're a storage terminal only, so out of confidentiality, we respect our customers.
Can you give any light to how negotiations are going with that customer?
Our customers have been extremely cooperative with us. They understand the difficulties that we're faced with right now, and we have not started that process.
Texas Department of State Health Services would make a determination on when it's safe to resume fish consumption on the channel. That would be them to call it, make that call. I don't expect it would be soon, based on fish advisory consumption advisories being in place since 2013.
Oh, so that had nothing to do with it.
That had nothing to do with the ITC incident. It was updated after the incident. I believe it was 2 or 3 days ago, just to be advised that there could be volatile organic compounds associated with the incident, but there's no decrease or increased alert based for fish consumption.
Okay, and they just text me.
No worries.
All right.
Thanks for asking.
Mr. Adams, San Jacinto has gotten 2 hits in the last 2 nights. Why is that area elevated?
Certainly, good question. So the winds have been coming out of the southeast over the last few days, and so we have water recovery operations, as well as what happens with the product on the water. When the wind's coming out of the southeast, it's blowing that oil, that product, that direction. And so water recovery operations are focused on that area to get the bulk of the product. And so naturally with the wind blowing, that's where you're going to see the measurements in the downwind direction. And if we get some hits, before, we have monitoring between the recovery operation and the community, so we'll be able to see there's an emission and it's heading towards this community, and we notify the local government as soon as we get that information.
And just for clarification, your target level is 1 part per million?
Correct.
Other questions? Okay.
Just a reminder, so the EPA website for all of our public data is response.epa.gov/ITC tank fire with no spaces. We have some photos, we have some documents. On the right hand side, there's a documents tab. You can click right there, and we have maps for the Aspect aircraft overflights. We have maps that show where the Taga bus drives. He does continuous air monitoring in the downwind community. As the wind shifts today and it's coming from the north, the Taga bus will move from the north side, the north channel, down to south, and it'll be in the Deer Park area. If they get detections, measurements, they're going to notify us, and we'll notify Deer Park local authorities. At the bottom of the page, there's looks like a big picture. You can click on that and scroll through it. It shows photos of actual response activities on the water. It shows photos of the Aspect aircraft, of the Taga bus. The Taga bus is Trace Atmospheric Gas Analyzer. It shows photos of air sampling or air monitoring efforts on the ground. It shows water sampling pictures. And then you can keep scrolling down and it'll show you the EPA's surface water sample locations. There's a lot of information there, and that's all public, so we can share the information that we have with you.
Based on that explanation, additional questions?
One more
Yep,
question.
And I'll come right back to you.
Just wondering, what's the reparation for these chemicals that have been burnt off, mixed up as well? How do you repay your customers, if that's the right term?
So like I said earlier, we're just focused on the response. Our customers have cooperated with us. All of this product will be disposed appropriately, working with our government agencies.
But you're not going to pay them any reparations?
We have not started that process yet.
But what would that process look like in general?
That will be decided between the company and the customers.
Yes, sir.
Yesterday, Harris County Public Health had to issue a correction or a statement ITC made about public health care or those seeking it. Can anyone speak on that, what the mistake was and what the correction should be?
I'm not exactly sure what the correction is. I would just say if anyone feels their health's been impacted due to this event, they should seek medical attention either through their personal physician or they can reference readyharris.org for more additional resources.